And there is free credit facility. So workers can buy on credit, which is adjusted from the salary at the end of the month. And if you buy 3 months consecutively from the outlet, $23 each month, you get free health insurance, which covers $200 of health costs at no cost from the workers. And on your right side, you see is an app which is coming for the workers who can order from home or from the workplace and take their delivery from the shop when they're going out for their home. So how we do this, we actually partner with different buyers. In Bangladesh, we have several partnership with several buyers. We partner directly with the factory. We sign an agreement with the factory. They provide us the space and the utility and the furniture inside the factory free of cost. We start working with the workers, aware them about the benefits of the shop, what kind of product they can buy. By the way, we have more than 2,000 different kinds of products that is available for the workers, including all the food and non-food household necessities. Workers get shopping cart and credit limit on their card, which they can adjust and buy from the shop without paying any cash. And then we start selling. When you do the selling at the end of 3 months, they start getting health insurance from the shop. So benefit that we generate is a data generated by GAIN in Bangladesh in 2021. There are several benefits that the factory can gain out of establishing a fair price shop inside factory. One is obviously it reduces the employee turnover, it reduces absenteeism, it increases productivity. And also it increases future order, because there are some of the buyers who introduced point-based scheme for social initiatives like Upon Shop. I'll finish my presentation with a very example of one of our client. She has started buying from the very beginning of our outlet. She has generated more than $314 worth of benefits, including from savings generated from purchase of goods and from health insurance. So far we have generated $260,000 of savings for the workers. We have given 3,500 plus health insurance card, and we have provided $2 million worth of free financing. We are building an ecosystem which can facilitate this kind of work in all the factories in Bangladesh as much as possible and as quickly as possible. So please come and support us in this journey. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Saipai, for your wonderful presentation. We would like to get some questions from the investors, from the audience. If you have any questions, I will request you to please raise your hands and we'll give you the floor. Or you can also share your questions in the chat room so that we can take it directly. I see we already have one question for Saipai. Saipai, what was the biggest learning curve for you during the structuring process for the B-Briddhi sink? We have it from Ms. Sharoz Islam.
Just give me a second. I'm trying to close my. Okay, I'll do that later. So I think the learning was it was a really different kind of project building exercise. We focused and refocused on our KPI, and I think when I presented today, it was one of the contribution from Sync when we spend almost 6 months redefining what we are actually doing, because you see the sector we are working is pretty much complex, and our focus need to be really focused. So there are a lot of work going on in terms of structuring our data, what data we are collecting and how we are analyzing those data, and also fitting those with our impact KPIs. I think that was a really great exercise to focus ourselves and also focus our data structuring process and our software so that we can collect those data on a regular basis. Hello?
Thank you, Saipai. I got a bit disconnected because my electricity went away, but I could hear your question, answer. Is there any question from the audience? I see another question in the chat room. So, Saib, I understand that you have received a lot of grants earlier, and also since Sync is also non-repayable investment, can you give us a comparison? How do you find this different, or how it works different than any other grants that you received earlier?
So I think Sync has four different kind of characteristics. One is obviously it focus more on the outcome rather the activities. That means we generate the results, and that creates a lot of flexibility for us. That gives a space for as well as for innovation. When you focus on the outcomes, you can identify what are the ways to generate that outcome. As a social enterprise, I think that is the goal, and our role is to balance that outcome. And balance means it doesn't conflict with the business or sustainability goal, rather it supplements each other. I think that is the most important part of Sync, where it gives you that space to identify ways of achieving those targets, which is obviously your target. That means you are more focused, that means you are more innovative, and that means you are more in control of your outcome. I think that's very important for an entrepreneur who are in this stage of growth and focused on creating large number of impact. I think the other point is obviously building confidence. When Sync came and looking into our data, evaluating our impact and measuring those, it gives us more confidence in terms of presenting those to different even investors and donors, right? So that because this is already validated, and this gives more confidence to go for fundraising, that gives more confidence in terms of giving those satisfaction inside the team as well, because then we see that we are achieving this and that's been validated, right? So I think there are several differences that Sync represent as a donor. It's not just completing some task, rather it fits with our future objective, with our goal and business, and carries and helps us to move that forward. I think that's very important.
Thanks, Aipai. I think that is a very powerful thing that you just said, that you can control your outcome because you're more focused towards it, and that you can create further impact because you're driven by it. I think that is wonderful. We'll take one last question from Nichor. Nichor is asking if you could kindly give a sense of current fundraising targets and instruments that you're thinking about.
So we are looking into 1.2 million currently, and we are looking into mainly debt and equity both. So it could be a blend of a portion of debt and equity. And with BD Angels, we are looking into obviously structuring those deals, and BD Angels and Nichor Bhai and Mehet Bhai, Jawad Bhai is helping us for last 3 months, I think, to do that. And I really thank them in this forum.
Thank you, Saibhai. I wish you all the best with your fundraising mission, and we believe that this program will also help you to connect with further angels to raise more further investments. Thank you, Saibhai. With that, I would like to go next to Likhan Bhai, who's the CEO of HelloTask. They have been doing wonderful over the last 2 years. They're basically a digital domestic helper supplier platform that helps to connect verified users with professional domestic helpers on demand. And they have been also working with a couple of development partners to create further employment in the community as well. So with that, Likhan Bhai, the floor is all to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mehet Bhai. Thank you for having me here today. So my name is Likhan. I'm the co-founder and CEO at HelloTask. So at HelloTask, we are digitizing the gig economy by empowering the labor class workers. So in this current world, like every other sector is being digitized, gig economy is also coming to light. So this is Apna, India's recent unicorn. So this is a blue collar and gray collar job marketplace. And interestingly, Google is also trying to digitize the gig economy. So they launched Kormo Jobs app, and this is a gray collar job marketplace. But if you want to get a job there, you have to have a smartphone. So in this world, having smartphone means we are connected. All the digital platforms are open for us. But what about them who actually do not have any smartphone, as in feature phone users? So they are mostly disconnected from all mainstream economy, mainstream ecosystem. And in only in South Asia, there are more than 50 million labor class workers, and they are the largest users of feature phones. The problem with them that they have no access to internet, no access to digital platforms, and this is a gold mine of $100 billion. So we actually wanted to solve this problem. So we built a technology called Computer APA and Smart IVR technology to connect any mobile phones, including feature phone or smartphone. So all the labor class workers who will be using our system will be connected to users in real time, and they need no internet to be connected. So we did pilot with our technology with the largest informal labor class workers, as in domestic helpers in Bangladesh, because they're one of the largest labor class workers and mostly vulnerable to violence. Their income is very poor, and as there is no digital platform present, so they get job on word of mouth or referral basis. There is no digital platform presence to connect them. So we successfully could connect the domestic helpers through Uber like sourcing platform. So the users can hire domestic helpers using our platform within 1 minute, and domestic helpers can get jobs on our platform using any mobile phone. And interestingly, the most important factor of our platform is it takes less than 1 minute to connect domestic helpers, just like Uber. And it has a great impact on domestic helpers' life. We brought 100% of domestic helpers under digital payment. And the most important achievement for us, traditionally the survey said around 47% domestic helpers experience abuse or physical violence during work, but on our platform it's basically 0%. We never experienced that sort of experience. So there is an upselling opportunity for domestic helpers. The more skilled they are, the more income they can make. And BRAC and Oxfam like international organizations are helping us in training them. So, but though we started our journey piloting with domestic helpers, but our vision is to become a full-scale labor marketplace. So at this round, before this round, we raised $100,000. But this round we are raising $300,000, of which $100,000 already committed by B-Briddhi. So we are looking to raise another $200,000 from other investors. So come join us and help build the biggest tech platform for labor class workers in South Asia. So if you have any question, feel free to ask.
What is the revenue, monthly revenue?
Currently, we are making like $12,000 sales, and our business model is 15% commission from every transaction. So it's around like 150K. So after launching this technology, we actually experienced exponential growth. So without normal manually, we never could actually serve more than 100 orders per day. But after launching this computer APA, we started actually getting more than 300 orders per day. So the more domestic helpers we have, the more orders we can serve.
343 order per day.
Yes, yes. It's sort of like subscription and pay-per-use. So 343 users per day. They're using our service every day.
So how many domestic helper are registered with you?
We have actually more than 2,000 domestic helpers registered on our platform since we started, but currently actively 300 domestic helpers are working. Actually, interestingly, we developed and launched this computer app in last August. So before that, we actually connected the domestic helpers manually. So no matter how many domestic helpers we have, no matter how many orders we get, we never could serve more than 100 orders. But now, no matter we can serve unlimited orders if we have unlimited domestic helpers.
Thank you, Dikampai. We have a couple of questions in the chat room, starting with, do you charge domestic helpers against your services? And also, is there any side effect for focusing on creating more impact, as in if there is any decrease in profit or in unit economics?
Sorry, which question? A lot of question, I think. Is there any effect on focusing on impact? Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, we can do that simultaneously. There is nothing related to the profit making. This is the separate part of impact monitoring and evaluation. We already have multiple partners here to help us with the impact monitoring. So we are working with World Bank, working with BRAC Institute of Governance, and B-Briddhi, and of course B-Briddhi. They are helping us with the impact monitoring, and profitability is different part. Do you charge domestic helpers against your service? No, we do not charge domestic helpers, but from the money we make, we take 15% commission. How do you fare against local competition? Currently, there is no active competitor, as in digital platform present, who are actually providing domestic helpers, but there are some sort of traditional agencies. But our biggest competitor is the traditional way, the way you hire domestic helpers. So we want to replace that. And the minimum ticket size, actually, we are just short of $200,000, and of those $200,000, $120,000 is already in soft commitment from Startup Bangladesh Venture Capital Limited firm, and the rest of the money we are looking to raise from Bangladesh Angels or any angels. I think we already have 12 angels, so we cannot actually accommodate many angels at this round. I think $25,000 would be our minimum ticket size. What is the biggest risk for HelloTask going forward? I think the biggest risk factor was the connectivity that we already solved, because the domestic helpers do not use smartphone. That was the biggest moat for any competitor. Like Sheba XYZ started this service, Appoint.me started this service as well, but they both could not connect the domestic helpers. But we can without having a smartphone. This is our competitive advantage. But there is always a risk of the security for both ends. But the way Uber is much more providing security over the CNG, so on our platform, we can give the same experience to the domestic helpers and users, because we're the trust factor. like trust layer between the domestic helpers and users, but security is always concerned. On our platform, the domestic helpers and users can rate each other. This is the interesting thing. Sorry, rate each other. So we actually do the quality control. Domestic helpers can rate users. So if they experience any verbal abuse or something, we block the users. If the domestic helpers are not as expected, users can also report. We can send them for additional training, or we can actually block them from our platform. This is how we do the quality control.
Thank you so much, Dikumpai. We got a lot of questions in the chat room for you. I believe there is always going to be a lot more questions, but we'll take it over to the email after this event, and we'll move to the next impact enterprise. So we're going for our third impact enterprise, which is Romani. Romani is a full stack platform which enables women-led micro enterprises who are focused in beauty and lifestyle industries in Bangladesh. And we are welcomed by Armin Zaman Khan, who is the CEO of Harmony over here. So Armin, I will give the floor to you.
Thank you, Mehat, for giving me the floor. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So Ramani is a Bangla word. It means women in Bangla. So it is a full stack B2B and B2C platform for women micro entrepreneurs who are in the beauty, who are working in the beauty sector to start, run, and grow their businesses. So this is a typical picture of a woman entrepreneur that we work with. So her name is Shita. She is a Garo. She comes from the tribal hill tracts of Mymensingh, and most of her female family members have been engaged in this profession for years and years. So previously, before working in Ramani, she used to work in a high-end salon and used to earn around 15,000 taka per month. But after she started working in Ramani, she started earning around 35,000 taka every month, including her commissions. So she wants to start a physical salon now, and she has started saving and wants to buy a bike, and also bought a land in her village, which is a very rare feat for a woman in her community. Next slide. All right. So what Ramani does is that it works just like Uber. So it connects the salon workers or the beauticians who are in a space, who give services in specific areas to the customers who want those services at their homes. And currently, we are the largest on-demand beauty service platform in Bangladesh in terms of the entrepreneurs registered and also the orders that we have served since 2018. And we have registered more than 1,000 women entrepreneurs till now in Dhaka and Chittagong. And we have served more than 40,000 customers. And before the pandemic, we saw 20% month-on-month growth rate. And the total business we have generated for this women entrepreneurs have been around 500,000 till now. Next slide. Next slide. So on the customer's end, I'm not sure why there's a sort of patch on the there's a sort of patch on my screen. Anyway, that's not a problem. Okay, so on the customer's end, what we do is that we try to find out before we started the venture that what are the problems that they face, and we found out that in Dhaka, in the salons in Dhaka especially, the products that are used are actually do not carry any sort of brand, and they're made from places that the customers do not know where they're made from, and there is no transparency of the quality and the sourcing of beauty products. Only in the high-end salons, the customers are actually told that this is the brand of the products that are used. And obviously there's, you can, if you factor in the fact that the customers have to travel for long hours in the traffic jam to travel to and from the branded salon, then the cost of in the customer's end, there is a huge cost issue and also quality issue and also time issue. So that's why they prefer taking services at their home where they actually know what products are being used, and where they actually know that the person who's coming to the home is actually reliable. Next slide, please. So on the MSME's end, the biggest problem that they face for graduating from a salon worker to an entrepreneur is the fact that they do not have access to financing, because most of the women are unbanked and they do not and they cannot get financing help from any bank or any other sources. Even if they get financing help from microcredit institutions, they usually have to pay very exorbitant amounts, which works against them. And also to start a business, they need to have proper training. They need to have access to proper training institution certification, which they do not have. And the raw materials is a consistent problem because they are not aware of where the salons actually source their products from. Next slide, please. So for the B2C customers, the value proposition is very simple. We provide any standardized beauty services at their homes with the products that they know where they're coming from, because they're made by our own brand, which is Ramani Salon Naturals, and also we have currently created the largest network of personal beauty and lifestyle advisors who not only provide them with advice, but also help them understand their skin and hair concerns, unlike the other salons. Next slide. So for the MSMEs, currently we are connecting them to customers through our marketplace, and we are helping them grow their businesses. And in the future, we want to help them source all kinds of products for their salon needs from one single platform. So we have already started piloting with our own brand of products, which is Ramani Salon Naturals. And also at the same time, there are a lot of salon workers and women salon owners who want to earn extra on the side. So for them, we are creating a Ramani reselling platform from where they can sell products to their existing customers without any extra investment. Next slide. So currently these are our revenue streams. So we earn from our beauty on demand, which is our home service, and also our products, which is our own brand of facial masks, hair masks, hair oils, etc. Next slide. Next slide. Skip. Can skip this. Okay. So during the pandemic, what we did was that we realized that customers actually wanted more reliable people to come to their homes and not just freelancers who they are not sure whether they're verified and standardized or not. And also at the same time, we needed to make sure that we are financially sustainable or cash positive in the short term. So what we did was that we created a hybrid model where around 30 to 40% of our orders would be fulfilled by in-house beauticians. So we started hiring beauticians in our own payroll and giving them commissions, and also making sure that they go through the entire training process that is vetted by us, and also that they use our own products for all these services. So that was a full stack model, and we also started the pilot production of our in-house salon brand, which is Ramani Salon Naturals, and we also started selling these products to the customers through our own beauticians. So going forward in 2022, we want to scale up the reseller network because it has been very successful till now, do a commercial launch. And we also want to do a mass production distribution of the products, and also do a scale up of the Ramani in-house home service across not only Dhaka, but also at least 3 other major cities. Next slide. So so from B-Briddhi, the biggest support that we are getting is in the guidance that they're giving us that we're getting in terms of the theory of change and impact matrix, and setting the structural process in place so that we have a greater clarity for our long-term business vision. And also it becomes easier for us to communicate to impact investors in terms of the subsidized advisory support that they're giving to create the impact study. So this has been immensely helpful to actually communicate with any impact investors that we're speaking to, including institutional investors. Of course, there's the matching investment where it immediately gives us more confidence from any investor that we speak to, and also bring our documents together so that we can communicate in a much more structured manner. So this is not included in the slide, but we're currently raising $300,000 for our next stage of growth, which will happen in the next year. Thank you. So this is our team. So I'm the founder and CEO, and I have 2 more co-founders who are working as Chief Operating Officer, looking after the sales and marketing and operations, and Avid, who's looking after working as the CTO and looking after the tech development. Thank you.
Thank you, Arvind. I do understand we had a bit of technical difficulties as well as a bit of internet issues, but those who would want to, we will definitely share the pitch deck with you over email so that you can access it. It will be also available over our website. I know we took a bit more time with Armin, but definitely we'd be happy to take 2 minutes of questions. We have one from Ariana from Ben. She's asking, what is the minimum ticket size from Ramani's current investment round?
So the minimum ticket size for angel investors is not less than 25,000. And for any other institutional investor, we prefer at least 50,000, so that we don't have to dilute it too much. Monthly user churn in terms of percentage. So our retention rate is around 30 to 40% now. So the rest. So it's increasing every month, the retention rate. So yeah, it's 30 to 40%. Our retention is 30 to 40%. The rest is churn. In 3 months period.
Great. Thank you so much, Armin, for being here. And for those who have any further questions, you can definitely, we'll definitely connect you over email so that you can communicate directly one-to-one. And with that, I would like to introduce our next impact enterprise, which is Shuttle. Shuttle is basically trying to build a safe and comfortable transportation for mass people in Bangladesh, but they're also focusing a lot on the women entrepreneurs and the women population here. And with that, we have Riyasat Bhai, who's the CEO of Shuttle. We'd like to give you the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mihad Bhai. Hello, everyone. I'm Riyasat. I'm currently working as the co-founder and CEO of Shuttle. Just give me a second to, yeah. Yeah, Shuttle is a mass transit startup that provides safe transportation at an affordable price by moving more people with fewer vehicles, and we cater to both B2B and B2C customers. And so far in the last 36 months, we have generated more than $1 million revenue. And in the last 6 months, our average monthly revenue has been around $45,000. So we all know that Bangladesh is a country of more than 170 million people, and most of these people have to rely on public transportation because of their economic condition. However, the sad part is the entire public transportation system in the country is unplanned, unsystematic, and unsafe. And when we started talking to our potential users, we had this very interesting finding, and that is there are different segments of people in the society, and different segments have different needs and different priorities. For example, for women, safety is a major concern, but on the other hand, men want the fastest solution at the cheapest price. And then we have businesses who want to avoid the hassle of managing transportation for their employees. So our understanding from the entire situation was that 21st century mass transit solutions need to cater to the unique needs of each of the segments separately. Keeping that in mind, so far we have launched 2 services, Shuttle for Women and Shuttle for Business. Back in 2018, we started with Shuttle for Women because a study done by the development organization BRAC shows that 94% women commuting in public transport in Bangladesh have experienced physical, verbal, or some other forms of sexual harassment, which means around 85 million people in the country are scared to commute alone. So this is the initial problem that we wanted to solve. We provide the service in air-conditioned minivans where 10 to 11 women can safely commute together by paying less than 1/4 of ride-sharing cars. Using data, we project demand and design the most efficient routes possible for our customers. And just to give you an idea of where we stand in terms of price, the fare of shuttle is less than 1/4 of ride-sharing cars and less than half of ride-sharing bikes. And it is very close to the price of public transportation. So as we were successfully scaling up Shuttle for Women, we realized that the same solution can add great value to multinational companies as well. We launched Shuttle for Business with Standard Chartered Bank in October 2019, and since then we've been ramping up our B2B services on top of our existing model and technology. Since then, companies such as BAT, HSBC, and a lot of other companies have started working with us. Especially during the pandemic, we provided safe and sanitized transportation solution to our B2B clients, which has doubled our monthly revenue from what it was before the pandemic. So only in Bangladesh, we have a total addressable market of $7.5 billion, but we do believe that this solution can be implemented in other developing countries and densely populated cities as well. The business model has been validated in different parts of the world with billions of dollars investments from companies such as Amazon, Toyota, and Ford. The core team of Shuttle has previous experiences of founding and establishing successful businesses. And the good part is all 3 of us grew up in Bangladesh. We have experienced the problem ourselves, and we've been working together full-time at Shuttle for more than 3.5 years, which has given us a lot of insights and knowledge to succeed in this business. So far, we have raised around $1 million from VCs, institutional investors, and angels. And prominent experts from Uber, Foodpanda, Google, and Microsoft have also invested in Shuttle to help the company reach the next level. And we have also been receiving support from B-Briddhi since last year, which has enabled us to track our impact in key areas. For example, 89.5% of our users say that it is safer than their previous mode of transportation. And in every single shuttle trip, on an average, 6.33 people commute together. And also only in 2021, we have trained 219 drivers. Our immediate goal is to reach 1 million annual recurring revenue within the next 6 months. So I'll finish my presentation with a quote from the ex-mayor of Bogota, who once famously mentioned, "A developed country is not a place where the poor have cars, it's where the rich use public transportation." And hence, we envision to make safe and comfortable transportation inclusive and affordable for mass people in developing countries. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yusuf. Yusuf, we have a question from the chat room. I see Fairuz has shared a question. So it's saying that since you started by addressing the safety and physical mobility of women customers on transportations, do you have any further plans on how you can empower women through your business?
Of course, I mean, even though we are providing transportation, we believe that it's not just about helping them going from one place to another place safer. It's also, I mean, we are trying to also give them the freedom to commute wherever and whenever they want to, so that they can reach their true potential. Because currently what happens is in Bangladesh, parents usually, they feel very scared to let their daughters commute alone. So, and this actually creates a lot of obstacles and for the daughters, and they always have this feel that they will need someone to accompany them. So we want to make sure that we're helping to reduce the problem through transportation, definitely, but of course, and we feel that the impact is much more than just a safe transport. And other than that, we are also plan on we are currently we are trying our best to increase women participation in the workforce within shuttle. Currently we have like 9 female managers in our team, which was like 2 last year. In total, we have like around 40% of our employees are women. And also we plan on developing a driving school for women in the future, because currently it's almost impossible to get women drivers in Bangladesh. That is also another plan that we have. And in the future, we also want to work with garments workers, female garments workers, so that we can ensure their safety as well, because currently the target audience that we have, I mean, that is usually office goers or university students, but we feel that we need to do something for the lower age earners as well.
Thanks, Resabhai. Ariana is asking, what is your minimum ticket size for shuttle? And we also have another question from Nikam Pai, if you could address that.
Yes, sure. So for the first question, currently we're actually raising around $100,000 in SAVE, and the minimum ticket size is $25,000. And regarding the second question, MRT, yeah, I mean, we actually believe that the MRT project will actually help us a lot in a lot of other ways. We definitely will have to adapt, but some of the ways where we actually feel that it will be beneficial for us are, number one, we will be able to we'll have routes from home to MRT, so that is something that will help us to structure the routes and everything, because a lot of people will have to go to MRT from their home and also from their work to MRT. So that is something that we see a great opportunity in. And also, if MRT projects are properly implemented, chances are traffic jam will reduce a bit, so that will help us to reduce the commute time as well for each of our trips, which will eventually give us more opportunity to increase the number of trips per day or per vehicle.
Thank you so much, Resabhai. This is a wonderful initiative where you have here, you started focusing on the women population here, starting to build a secure and a safe mobility transportation, but eventually you're also planning to empower them through your business. I think that's a wonderful impact that you're creating over here, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
With that,
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I would like to invite our last and final presenter for today, which is SoulShare. SoulShare is one of the pioneer in microenergy transition, and they have invented the first ever physical peer-to-peer solar sharing grids in Bangladesh. And we have Daniel here. He's the co-founder and CFO who would like to present. So Daniel, over to you.
Yes, yeah. Hello, everyone, and thanks for having me here. Before I start with my part, I also want to mention here at SoulShare, we have also been using Shuttle the last few months. So I can only recommend them because we also have a lot of female staff, and especially during the pandemic and all these lockdowns, it was a very, very useful service. So I can only recommend them. But yeah, now let's get over to SoulShare. So the future of energy begins with Bangladesh. That has been a slogan that we try to use since 2018, when we became part of a energy accelerator program, like an accelerator program, the biggest accelerator program for energy startups in the world. where we had to compete with a lot of high-level startups from the Silicon Valley, from Berlin, Paris, London, Israel, and so on. To name them, none of them came from the emerging market. And yeah, so back then we invented the slogan, and it actually got us quite far. And in the end, we also won this startup accelerator in 2018, and they named us the best energy startup in the world. And yeah, and all of it, of course, wouldn't have been possible.
Don't stress. তুমি চলে আসতে বলো, চলে টাকাটা নিয়ে চলে আসো, আমরা ওই যে বিফের ভেন্ডরকে পে করে দেব।
Can someone, yeah. Yeah. So what we with Soldier do is we are providing vulnerable communities access to awesome energy services. Why we are naming these awesome energy services, there is always a notion, and especially I have often seen this in Bangladesh, but also when I have been abroad, that low-income communities and vulnerable communities, what they need is cheap products and services. But that was something we were always saying, like, no, this is not true. Especially when you talk about energy infrastructures, what vulnerable and low-income communities need is high-quality products and services at an affordable price point, and you need to make them affordable somehow. And that is why we frame this, or what we are trying to offer is awesome energy services. And we started the company in 2014 here in Dhaka. I myself moved here in January 2015, have been living here for now almost 7 years. And we started as a typical energy access startup, very much focused and still focused, of course, on the impact space. But basically through the solution we have been working on, especially these peer-to-peer energy trading grids that we have been implementing here in Bangladesh, we really have been evolving to becoming a proper energy tech company or tech company, however you want to call it, which is also partially reflected through the kind of investors we could win throughout the years. Two of them are two of the biggest utilities or energy companies in the world, which is E.ON, the biggest German utility, and EDP from Portugal. Over the years, we have now developed 3 business lines. So we started with these peer-to-peer energy trading grids and have now also evolved into other business line. And how we have positioned ourselves, and of course, what Bangladesh has enabled for us is that we've positioned ourselves as a first mover in latest energy technology development in unregulated and high social impact markets. I think this is usually a slide we need to use always when we go internationally. I just had to pitch this in Berlin last week, but of course, for us, Bangladesh has so far been a country with incredible opportunities and a unique ecosystem. Especially, we have been banking on or building on the biggest mobile money market in the world, which basically has to do if you try to build digital infrastructures and try to digitize infrastructures like energy infrastructures and use IoT components in there, try to automate everything. One of the most important things you need is actually digitalization of payments. And that's for sure something for us where Bangladesh has been a unique market and has enabled, which has been enabling what we have been doing so far. But also, it's the largest market, or still the largest market for solar home systems in the world, with more than 6 million solar home systems installed. Especially when you build energy infrastructures, we are talking about one of the most densely populated countries in the world. And now we have also started to venture into electric vehicles and electric vehicle charging infrastructures, which is also again built on what I still think many people are not aware of, but if you go into the villages, of course you see it, is by now 1.75 million electric vehicles we have in the country. So what we have built over the last few years, as I said earlier, we started with solar peer-to-peer microgrids. So which was really, what we have developed is what we call by now the Sol Bazaar, which is a marketplace for future-proof energy infrastructure. So we started with peer-to-peer microgrids, which is basically where we did build a marketplace where people in rural areas can build a very vulnerable and sustainable energy infrastructure fully based on solar energy. But also where we enable people to basically exchange and trade electricity with each other, enabling basically people to earn money from the sun, And yeah, this is basically the initiative we had been taking since 2015, which brought us a lot of international attention. And yeah, which also basically triggered all the investments we got so far. We then ventured also into more financial inclusion. So we also have a business line where we provide pay-as-you-go solution for financing appliances. This is for us, of course, also related to energy infrastructures. On the one hand, you have the production, distribution, but also the consumption. So we saw that something we also need to intervene and also make these make appliances, especially high efficient appliances, available to people. And now we basically started also to venture into micromobility. So we are now starting or developing a new business line where we are going to provide charging infrastructures, and new batteries for the electric vehicle, the electric three-wheeler market. Yeah, that's it so far from my side. I mean, I only have the 3 minutes here. Yeah, but of course, I'm very happy to answer your question. And yeah, thank you very much for listening. And yeah, over to you guys.
Thank you, Daniel. That was very interesting to see about the potential of electric vehicles as well as the solar energy here in Bangladesh. I think that's quite interesting. We got a question from Lydia here. She's asking, why do you want to work with electric vehicle drivers, and how are they unique to this boom of EV industry in Bangladesh, considering the social and environmental impact aspect?
Yeah, so the thing why we would like to work in there is because it happened. Yes, I mean what we saw in Bangladesh again. Yeah, it's for me it's a country or market which doesn't stop surprising you. The vehicles are there. For some reason, more than 1.6 million, maybe by now 1.8 million of these electric vehicles popped up. We have seen initiatives going to direction, trying to regulate it, trying to forbid it, but they are there, and I don't think they will leave anymore. And I also think they actually make a lot of sense, especially when we talk about micromobility. If you look at a market like Bangladesh, of course, with this population density, micromobility makes a lot of sense, but of course, it's right now not done in the most efficient way. So we have identified a lot of issues in this market, starting with the kind of storage technology which is used. They're still using lead-acid batteries. By now, this is, of course, they are much more efficient, much more affordable solutions, which again also leads to basically the fact that we have identified, and we think there's a potential to basically bring down the cost for these electric vehicle drivers by more than 50%, by introducing better financing model, introducing better storage, better battery storage technologies, but also making these vehicles basically more efficient. This will require some investment and some intervention, but that's what I say. We see a very clear potential there to basically make this market more efficient and yeah, mainly enable the drivers to bring down the cost for them significantly, and of course then reverse to in the same way increase their net income and make these solutions much more convenient for them. Of course, there are still issues which need to be thought about, especially if you switch from lead-acid batteries to lithium batteries. Certain environmental aspects. Right now, there are no recycling facilities for this in Bangladesh, no bigger ones. You still would need to ship these things to Singapore. So of course, there's a lot on the supply chain to work on. But yeah, as I said, if you look at the market, for us, it's very clear the market is there and it will not go away. It is just about like how to organize this market and basically how to make it more favorable, especially for the drivers. And the other part I also see is, especially through the introduction of electric vehicles, is also, of course, I see a certain potential there to also make this transport market more accessible to women in rural areas.
Thank you, Daniel. I see we have a question from Faiz. He's asking how much investments are you raising, and if you need any additional support like police intervention support.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, we are right now, yeah. So we are still have an ongoing investment round, which had a total or has a total volume of 2.75 million. This is the equity part. On a later stage, we will require more investment in debt, working capital, if you go into these EV charging model. But the current investment round is the total volume is 2.75 million. We have already secured 1.1 million through safe notes. So 1.65 million is still open. Yeah, ticket size we are looking at is usually minimum 10,000. If you're in this region like 10,000, we reserve the right to later pool these investments into an SPV because I mean we have a Singapore holding company. There's a certain limit on how many shareholders you can have. So sooner or later there will be the need to pool smaller kind of investments. And yeah, of course, on the policy side, and that's of course something we have been working on through all these years, and luckily we have so far always seen a relatively favorable environment, but especially when you go into electric vehicles, but also these peer-to-peer microgrids you're working in. We're talking about energy markets. The energy markets in any country in the world are the most regulated, some of the most regulated markets for a good reason. Yes, it's a very basic infrastructure. And of course, I mean, we're also now having the first few projects together with the government of Bangladesh, where we try to integrate the first few of our microgrids into the national grid, which is a necessity because the national grid has been expanding so much. But of course, any kind of support in this direction, especially in the energy sector, also sooner or later in the transport sector. But right now we still see the bigger problem, at least with the electric vehicles, and one of the main reasons why they actually in between also have been forbidden is basically that there's still a problem with the distribution network in Bangladesh, and it's basically one of the reasons why they're still forbidden in Dhaka, because if all of these vehicles start charging at 6 p.m. in the evening, the grid breaks down. So of course, policy support in this direction will be needed, and this can also only work, and we won't be the only player in there if there's a lot of discussions and so on with the regulators here.
Thank you so much, Daniel. It was very insightful, and we saw a lot of interesting enterprises here today, and every one of them is different. They have different social agendas, and they are creating a beautiful impact in their own way, and they all have a huge potential to become larger. I'm thankful to the investors who have been present here today, and it was lovely having you. I understand that this session might not be the best case where you can have the one-to-one conversation, but definitely there is something what we want to facilitate. We are hosting an investor dinner next week, Thursday, 18th of November at Like Casa Partners headquarters. It's going to be starting from 7 p.m. So we invite you all to be present, where you can meet these enterprises in flesh. And other than that, we're also going to connect you over the email so that you can also take this forward personally as well. And with that, we actually come to the closing session. Before we close the session, I would like to invite everyone to turn the cameras on so that we can take a group photo. This is just to commemorate of this event, and we'll then pass it down to B-Briddhi. Requesting everyone to turn the cameras on. Saib Bhai, Riyasat Bhai. Great. If you could all look to the camera, we'll take a couple of pictures. We're taking some screenshots. Great. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to pass it down to B-Briddhi, who's the CEO of Like Casa Partners, to close the event. B-Briddhi, to you.
Thank you everyone for giving time. I know it's a Thursday evening and most of us are getting ready to go over to the weekend. not all of us. Some of our colleagues would possibly have to work on Friday, but hopefully they will have a less pressure. Fingers crossed. I think it's a great time to find a company in Bangladesh. We just crossed USD $2,000 per capita. The GDP still within COVID grew by 5%. The middle income population is growing and will become 34 million by 2025. And a lot of progress of infrastructure is happening. But let's not forget, often that progress needs to be inclusive. And that is where I think impact enterprises can help the economy can get better, have better growth, and not only have growth, but inclusive growth. With that, I again thank you everyone for coming. Have a nice weekend, and look forward to seeing you on the 18th if we can make time. Take care, everyone, and go impact enterprises. All the best.
Thank you, Bijan. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bijan. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.